Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Jem and the holograms? Yes, hello. I'd love to be casual with you, dear listener, but we got a bit of a problem on our hands. This is a momentous occasion that I am both happy and sad about. We are a podcast that has Can We Talked about a certain show for close to 2 years at this point, and it's just about to wrap up. It is that neon nightmare, that pastel phantasm, that oh-so-frighteningly fashionable 80s cartoon, air quotes classic, Jem and the Holograms. I look to Jem for good luck, Kristen. My name is Joe.
I think her name is Bonnie. I'm Kristen.
And we have watched all of Jem and the Holograms via Shout Factory's Jem and the Holograms, truly outrageous, complete series box set, as well as the wonderful world of Netflix. And Kristen, what have you been watching other than Jem on Netflix?
I don't know how you can expect me to even pretend like everything is okay right now, but I did start watching Stranger Things too.
I watched all of Stranger Things too.
God, I only got to episode 3 and then I stopped because my tummy hurt and the show was not helping.
Gross slug monsters, I'm sure.
Yeah, just a little bit yucky, but I will go back to it slowly but surely. I'm in the process of moving, so my life is a little bit hectic right now.
This week, Kristen, as I said, and as you alluded to as well, where things definitely are, it's not okay. I'm not okay, Kristen.
I feel weird.
It's the final episode of Jem, and one thing I wanted to just kind of talk about with the episode before we got into it here, Kristen, one thing that I find a bit unique about this ending here, there's a change to the status quo to end the series, presumably, at least. Where, and I looked this up, and I mean, I don't know, there's something weird about fucking broadcast order with, like, He-Man and stuff, but, like, He-Man's last episode was just an episode. It just ended. The last episode of the Transformers series was the 3-part The Rebirth, which seemed like the beginning of a new season, and then nothing. So, it's nice that Jem ends on something that seems like this is a fine place to end the series, rather than a fucking wet fart episode like Video Wars or something.
Yeah, it feels like Jem has convinced itself that it has, like, somewhat of a narrative, and it kind of does, not a particularly masterful one.
I mean, to be fair, it's a bit more, I don't even necessarily want to say compelling, but it's a bit deeper than the good robots are going to fight the bad robots. He-Man's going to fight Skeletor, and he might win, I don't know.
Yeah, we've made attempts to develop relationships, and characters have attempted to have arcs, again, not always successful, but the emotional through line is the thing.
If it takes more than one episode, maybe we can recognize that arc, because here we are, where, Kristen, I was surprised to see Riot's father in this episode for 3 seconds.
I totally forgot he was in this episode. So we needed to have Riot's hope so this could be a thing? What?
It informs the finale of the series, of course, one episode before it was supposed to.
That's so crazy.
Kristen, A Father Should Be, which is the title of the episode, I don't remember if we said, is, at its core, incredibly ridiculous, and showcases how fucking stupid Jem is, first of all.
Yes.
But what else can we expect from the fucking lovely group of gals that we have gotten to know over 65 episodes?
They're all so stupid.
It's gonna be a good one, so strap in for our final episode of Jem.
Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem, Jem is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion and fame. Once you're a Jem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Jem girl. Jem, Jem is my name. Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem, Jem is my name. Truly outrageous, that's a Jem girl. Glamour, fashion and fame. Exciting adventure, fashion and fame. Once you're a Jem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Jem girl. Jem, Jem is my name. Jem.
We start off, Kristen, written by Christy Marks, as it should be.
I love you, Mom.
We start outside of City Elementary School, Kristen.
It wasn't called that before.
City's famous elementary school.
Then again, yeah, I guess this is the elementary school, so Bonnie goes here and Ashley goes to the other place.
And Chrissy goes here too, I guess. I thought Chrissy was, like, as old as Ashley, if not a little older.
I've run out of energy to ask these questions at this point.
For some reason, it seems like this episode made Chrissy Bonnie's best friend, when Chrissy always seemed like, not like teen mom or anything, but she was responsible.
A little bit like the adult orphan.
A teacher lady comes up to Jerrica here. She is walking hand in hand with Chrissy and Bonnie through the school. And the teacher immediately goes, "Oh, Mrs. Benton." And Jerrica's like, "Please, Mrs. Benton was my father. Call me Jerrica."
No, I was going to make that joke. don't know why I expected that you wouldn't.
I like my other joke here, actually, where I wrote in all capital letters, "Please call me Jerica, I'm 22 years old."
Don't you dare do this to me right now.
This teacher lady's name is Hope London, Bonnie's art teacher. She thanks Jerica for coming to the elementary art show. The walls all have, like, crayon drawings on them, and I guess that when we see Bonnie's, they're better than... Are they paintings? Like...
They're finger paintings, please.
Bonnie isn't 5, you guys. Come on.
She's not that great at drawing for whatever age she's supposed to be.
Bonnie looks around as well here. Jerica and the teacher shooting the shit, and Mad World starts playing as Bonnie starts noticing all around me are familiar faces. Worn out places, worn out faces.
Worn out places, worn out fathers.
So all these kids have parents, and you see just a few of like a dad just pulling a kid up like, "Oh, here, you can take a better look at it. Here you go, champ."
Yeah, let's do it, sport. Nice job.
Oh, one of the drawings on the wall looks like an Insecticon, I noticed.
Okay. This is the thing that killed my mommy.
A tear rolls down Bonnie's cheek as she sees all these familial interactions, and the teacher shows off Bonnie's art, and we have the through line for this episode, Kristen.
Bonnie is weird?
A lot of Sherlock Holmes, a lot of Robin Hood, a lot of King Arthur, and the teacher's just like, she gives all her men red hair. Isn't that cute?
Shouldn't the teacher, know Bonnie is an orphan? And that maybe she's obsessively drawing what she thinks her father looks like?
The people that she wants to model her father after.
Maybe. It seems like this is the kind of thing you would bring to the attention of a guidance counselor before just bringing her foster mom in and being like, your kid's fucked up.
Really, Bonnie is setting herself up with failure fucking with those role models. I mean, Martin's pretty good. We find that Martin is a super Vietnam action man, but, like...
a real American hero.
A reject from the G.I. Joe team, yeah.
Yeah.
Jerica says that the art is very good, and that is our last very of the series, Kristen.
That's why Bonnie starts crying.
She notices Bonnie is crying here, and Bonnie's just like, "I want to go home. I'm never going to hear very ever again."
Everyone has a father but me.
Fade to Bonnie, looking out the window, all forlorn here. Ashley comes in dressed like she's about to fucking lead a hair metal band.
Yeah. Where's that cartoon?
Got a headband and everything. Ashley and the Starlights, the new spinoff.
Booyah, Snake Dance.
And she asks Bonnie if she wants to go to the movies, and Bonnie's like, "No." And Chrissy's like, "How about some carrot cake?" And Bonnie's like, "No."
So things are going great. They're really breaking through to her.
Apparently she loves carrot cake, I assume. I would have liked to assume that...
What a boring character trait.
Jerica's just like, "What do we have in the fridge? Go offer it to Bonnie. I think she's allergic to it." "Go offer it to it. She might like it."
It was either that or just baby carrot sticks, so the cake was slightly less depressing.
"You want some celery, kid?"
How about some pickled vegetables? I have half a jar of them. Some cocktail onions? What are kids like?
"I don't want anything," Bonnie says as we fade to Ashley and Chrissy, telling Jerica that Bonnie is in a definite funk here.
She didn't even want a martini. She loves them shaken, not stirred.
All she does is sit and stare out the window. It's creepy!
The little kids don't know what depression is.
Thanks, Ashley. All things coming full circle. Ashley's back to being a bitch.
Yep.
Good job.
It all resets.
Chrissy says that Bonnie is just waiting for her dad to appear out of fucking thin air, and then Kimber all of a sudden jumps up like, "Oh, shit! Randy James is in town." Kristen, do you remember who Randy James is?
Yes, he was the drummer for Johnny Deacon.
Well, Kristen Ray does not remember. She wasn't there for the Gem Jam.
No.
So
we explain it to the kids and also to Rhea.
she gets to play audience surrogate here because Ray is just like, how's that relevant, Kimber?
Kimber's like, "Oh, Bonnie once thought that Randy James might be her dad, and that went awesome. So we should dangle him in front of her face."
Jerica says it's a great idea because, fuck, if carrot cake can't do it, if cocktail onions can't do it, Jesus.
I don't know what they were thinking with this plan.
We cut to some kind of session here. Riot is directing Pizzazz on another take in a recording studio. Kristen, this is a movie soundtrack, they said, right? Kimber said? Why are the Stingers and the Misfits and Randy James? I mean, okay, so the Stingers and the Misfits don't have a drummer, so they need a session drummer, I guess.
I guess so. And none of the other Misfits are there, it's just Pizzazz.
And Pizzazz is wearing a terrible winter sweater, too.
They need Pizzazz to do some throat singing for this soundtrack.
Destiny is playing in the background as well, of course.
Just why?
Somebody's playing the video game Destiny in the background.
Good for them.
Jem cuts in on the loudspeaker as Riot finishes giving these instructions here, and it's just like, "So hey, I hate to interrupt the session," and then she teleports directly next to Riot.
Wham! And he gets over his jump scare, And he's like, super happy to see you. Do you want to go make out in the closet?
I'd kind of rather go make out with the drum man in the closet. I mean, I gotta talk to Randy real quick here.
Just give me a minute.
Jem tells Randy here that she is worried about Bonnie. She's obsessing over the whole father thing again. And Randy's like, I'd love to see the little kid. Yeah, that'll be great. Bonnie's my favorite, so I'd love to see her warm smile and receptive hug from her. That'd be really nice.
They can't just fly in this famous drummer every time Bonnie gets sad. It's a flawed plan.
We fade back to Bonnie, still doing the creepy thing, looking out the window here. Jerica and Randy walk in. Bonnie
Through the slot in the door, they see a noose that Bonnie tied. She might be a thing.
Bonnie gives Randy a little hug here before looking back out the window, and Randy's just like, wow, is that all the welcome I get? And then just walks away.
You know what? If you're gonna be like that, fine, Bonnie.
Bonnie says she's sorry, and then, this is where the news comes into play here, Kristen. If she can't find her real father, she doesn't want to live anymore.
And Jerica is like, hold on. We're your family, Bonnie.
I'm not gonna take that shit from your blind ass. We are your family.
How dare you?
Song number 1 here. Family is people who care. People who lend a helping hand, something like that, whatever.
This song sounds like Jerica kind of telling Bonnie how good she actually has it. Where it's like, Bonnie, you have no parents and you're surrounded by rich people who love and support you, so...
And 12 other girls who you're friends with, who, none of them are dissenters or anything among them, so...
No, everything's awesome because this is a cartoon in the 80s and we're a good guy.
We got birds flying here. Bonnie's looking through the window and sees that even the birds have dads, god damn it!
No, those fucking birds!
Bonnie teleports here, riding bikes with Sherlock Holmes and Watson, who turn into Randy and Jerica respectively, so Jerica is Watson.
Nice.
We've got Bonnie getting transported again here. She starts getting chased by some rowdy villagers, only to be saved by those 2 best friends, Robin Hood and King Arthur.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's hundreds of years apart, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it definitely is.
I don't know when the fucking, the Canterbury Tales is supposed to take place, but I'm pretty sure it's a little ways away from Robin Hood.
I don't know about hundreds of years, but definitely not those 2 best friends.
Robin shoots 3 arrows at once here, which takes the hats off some of the ruffians, and Arthur has all of his hearts filled because he fires a fucking magic blast from Excalibur.
Woo! Are we not gonna address the fact that Bonnie wishes that her dad was a drug addict with the Sherlock Holmes thing? Just seems like not a great idea.
Again, they turn into Randy and Jerica here, though, the 2 best friends, so I think Jerica gets to be King Arthur, which means she's also Link. So, I'd love to play a Legend of Zelda game where you play as Jerica.
Nah, I'm good.
Family is a state of mind, Jerica says, pointing at her noggin, just being like, family is what you make. Home is where the heart is, Kristen.
Of course! Your birthday party is today. Family love Bonnie.
Down the aisle I'm heading. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Yeah.
We see a panning shot of all of the orphans. They're the family, Kristen. Family love Bonnie.
It's Bonnie's birthday party. There's a cake. I was just taking a picture of everyone hanging out with Bonnie. This really seems to illustrate that I don't know what the fuck Bonnie is complaining about, honestly.
I like how, even at the end of the fucking series here, Kristen, Aja can't get in on the goddamn picture of everybody.
Nope.
Bonnie opens presents and finds a jumper with a bear on it.
Yeah!
Wow! And it must have come from the Bears Are Silly Orphan, Kristen, because the last shot is Bonnie holding a photo with her and Chrissy and the Bears Are Silly Orphan all hanging out, laughing, eyes closed, looking like they're dying, because, of course, when your eyes are closed and your mouth is open...
and there's no sound.
And there's no sound. You don't look like you're having fun, you look like you're dying.
Bonnie picks up her jumper. She poses with all of her friends in unison. They all go, ah! Family.
It relieves stress, Kristen.
The cacophony of orphan screams.
I know you love me, but it's not the same thing!
Okay, so, I realized that Bonnie briefly knew who her mom was. But why didn't she complain about not having a mom?
She's really focused on the dad thing, Kristen, I guess.
I guess so. Hey, at the end of the episode, literally all of her problems are fixed by finding her dad, so I hate to give it to her, but she was correct.
Bonnie wants her real father, and she starts to question, I know he's out there. Does he even love me? Does he really care?
Jerica kind of, goes down on her knees and kind of, looks back and forth for a second, and she's like, like a negative Nancy? We don't know if your dad's alive.
Jerica just fucking comes in with that wrecking ball of just, Dad might not be alive.
He might be
Bonnie.
dead. In which case, it doesn't really matter if he loves you or not.
Bonnie is not. Bonnie at least takes this very well and is just like, I'm not gonna give up hope, and then turns back to the window here.
With no proof, she defiantly believes that he is out there somewhere.
We fade to the next scene, and it's time to go over what we do know about Bonnie's dad here. So, okay, soldier in Vietnam.
So by default, a great guy.
There was a draft, Kristen!
I know!
Don't you be harping on the people who went to Vietnam.
Hey, I'm just saying, that didn't mean things went awesome there.
Married, but then they were separated. Separated by choice, not like a divorce, but like literally had to separate themselves.
I love that part of the story is, no, of course they were married. They wouldn't have a child out of wedlock.
He's only a soldier in Vietnam.
Come on, of course it went this way, and it was super romantic.
Bonnie's mom died before reaching America.
On the boat, I guess? Grim! And how many, they don't say how many years later either.
No, they don't. We don't know how long Bonnie was actually in Vietnam.
She speaks English really well.
She does.
I mean, I guess her mom did too. It's an 80s cartoon.
Bonnie's mom did say that her father's name was Martin, which we find that, of course, Martin is his first name, where a lot of times, like, the initial thought process is, well, Martin must be his last name, because why would Bonnie's mom give the first name?
Because I guess that's important to know if they had, their last names weren't the same. I don't know.
And Bonnie's mother told her that her father had red hair, so Kimber, again with some of that Stormer realist coming out here, is just kind of like, this really is not much to go on, Jerica.
It turns out it's a shitload to go on because they very quickly, as we see very soon, narrow it down to 3 fucking people.
Okay, so I mean, you gotta think, one thing that they didn't mention is a tour of duty near Tonlok, where Bonnie's village was.
Uh-huh.
So I can understand where they get down to 3 people for that, but it's weird. You're right, it's weird.
But Jerica says, hey, wait a minute, I learned last episode that Riot's dad was an officer in Army intelligence. Did we learn that?
We did not know.
Just that he was in the Army, I think, but
He might not help Jerica, but he'll definitely help Jem.
I thought he became a better person. What happened to that?
Jerica Showtime synergies here, and it looks like she's wearing pajamas with lightning bolts all over them.
Yay! She's going to have a sleepover at Riot's.
The holograms wish her luck here, and we cut right to Riot's place, wherever that is.
The place where he is.
Riot is also wearing some very casual
Right said Fred!
mesh top, so
Yeah! That's definitely from the Singers Hit Town.
Riot hates asking for advice from his dad, but it's thanks to Jem that they talk at all, and
This is presented like a cut-in in a video game where you made a certain decision, and
Riot
someone
will remember
starts
that
to
kind of
say,
thing.
yeah, Riot remembers how you helped him reconnect with his father, so he's like, okay, well, that was thanks to you, so I will help you.
Jem asks if Riot can do it, and yeah, that's where Riot remembers here, and Riot goes, I'm not as heartless as you think.
Riot remembered when you were nice to him.
I mean... Jem kisses Riot's cheek here, and Riot goes, I'll collect a real kiss later, once you see how wonderful I am.
So Rio is in this episode.
Don't lose your fucking good graces before you've strained to earn them so far, buddy.
This episode has a lot of confusing character work in it, but Bonnie is the focus, so I guess we get what we get.
Rio has like 2 lines in this episode,
And 1 singing line.
which might just be Gordon Grody.
Probably.
Who knows? We fade to Riot's dad bringing Riot into a military area where there's a nice lady who can help him find the information that he's looking for here.
I don't think he even needs to flirt with her, but he does anyway.
She also hits like 3 keys on her business computer here, and
I'm hitting the Martin key, the red hair key, and the unlock key.
there are only 2 people with the last name Martin, but it could also be a first name, which I thought would be like, oh shit, there's gonna be a ton of Martins. 1.
Okay. So there's 2 people with the last name Martin who have red hair who fit this description. There is 1 person with the first name Martin with red hair who fits these descriptions. That seems backwards.
I mean, it would be different if, like, Andy Martin, if he was the only, like, last name Martin. That's why they were kind of more sure that it would be him. I mean, it helps that Leonard Maltin, Leonard Martin, what I keep calling him Leonard Maltin in my notes.
Weird.
It would help if it were, like, Martin Leonard, like the other guy, But also he's in a wheelchair, we find later, so...
Yep.
And, I mean, they don't really come out and say it, but he comes out and says, like, it's definitely not me, and it's just, easy to see why.
Just don't worry about it.
The lady here, Sergeant Langley, is voiced by Shayna, of course, by the way, as well.
Good for her getting those lines in, as other characters while she still can.
She hands out a printout here from the business computer with 3 men and their last known addresses, and Riot does go, Sergeant Langley, you are truly a genius. And he's about to fuck her right there on top of the business computer before he remembers his dad is still in the room.
Dad! I need you to leave for a couple minutes.
Thanks, Dad, Riot says awkwardly as we fade back to Starlight Mansion.
Cool, and that's a series wrap on Riot's dad.
Kimber's surprised that Riot came through here, but now it's time to go delegate who's gonna go find whom. Kimber and Aja, together, voiced by the same voice actress, they get Martin O'Carrollin, who is... they don't say where Martin is, so I assume it's L.A.
Hanging out. Just on the flip side.
Rhea and Rio go get movie critic Leonard Moulton here. Martin, he is in Nebraska. And Shayna and Jarek are going to Vegas, baby!
Woo!
To see the other dude, Andy Martin.
Unless he's living at the casino that they find him at. What address were they given? I'm a rewards member. They let me stay here for free forever.
Tropicana Resort and Casino, third row slot machine, or roulette table, Andy Martin, care of P.O. Box roulette table.
There's just a slot underneath where the coins come out. Oh, gotta collect my mail. Bills. Gem and the holograms.
I could already be a winner.
I trust you, Publishers Clearinghouse.
They're not gonna give up until they find Bonnie's dad. End of segment 1. Resolve.
Question.
Yes.
They didn't try to find him seriously sooner?
I mean, they thought that it was probably just a pass and phase thing with Bonnie, but now that she's in a funk and, like, literally just like, I want to die!
Ugh, she's really stuck on this dad thing.
Segment 2 starts here. The Rockin' Roadster arrives at the Veterans Administration Hospital here, California's famous Veterans Administration Hospital, of course.
Of course.
We've got Dr. Sakai here. He remembers Martin O'Carrollin well. He was a POW and recuperated at this hospital, but Kristen, we learned that Martin had amnesia! What a good narrative device amnesia is.
Intrigue. I'm surprised they didn't use it more often.
At the Indy 500. And then Dr. Sakai goes, but I shouldn't be giving you that kind of information.
It's like he was just remembering that doctor-patient confidentiality is a thing. How long have you been a doctor?
Kimber and Aja ask this very professional dude to break doctor-patient confidentiality here, and he gets implored to reconsider.
Okay, here's his address.
Why was Martin O'Carrollin's last known address a hospital?
Because he was a rewards member.
We cut to Ace packing here over in Nebraska, I guess, where Rio and Rhea have their 13-second scene of the episode.
So, Leonard Martin is hanging out here. They start to say, like, oh, so we're looking for veterans from the war who might know who the father of this little Vietnamese girl is. And he's like, oh, well, I'd be glad to help you. And Kimber's like, well, we were sort of hoping it would be you.
And then, yes, this is where he's, guy in a wheelchair, and he's just like, I'm certain it's not me.
It's definitely not me, don't worry about it. And they're like, well, this was awkward, thank you.
So, yep, they leave, and then Leonard Moulton gives Laser Blast 2.5 stars.
Ah, well, yeah.
Fucking flew all the way out to Nebraska just for 2.5 stars.
Rio and Rhea had to do something in this episode.
And now back to Vegas. Here we are. I was about to do. So
I thought you were going.
Also incorrect.
Both wrong.
Does I almost call Las Vegas New Vegas? Does Las Vegas have a song? Oh, Viva Las Vegas by Elvis Presley.
Perfect. Living La Vida Vegas.
Jerrica and Shayna are asking about Andy Martin here, and just a dude with, like, a visor, a dealer or whatever, is just like, oh, Andy Martin, he's over on table 9, losing all his money again.
So he's playing a game of roulette, then he loses, and does the cartoon version of just cursing up a storm in the middle of this empty casino in the middle of the day.
He goes, fiddlesticks, and oh gosh darn dagnabbit. And He's not very pleasant. He's not a very pleasant man as Jerica and Shayna walk over here. Hey, are you the father of a little Vietnamese girl?
And he says, none of your business, go away.
Bug off, I got money to win.
It's going great.
He gets up as he's, like, I guess, threatening Jerica and Shayna, too, and after he says he's got money to win, he turns to a picture of Jem on the wall. A signed picture of Jem, and...
He rubs it.
puts his hand on it and goes, bring me luck, Jem, baby.
And Shayna goes, ah!
She's a little creeped out by this, as she should be.
That's her last line in the series. Ugh.
Shayna kind of goes, like, so he thinks that Jem can bring him luck, and Jerica goes, maybe she'll bring us some luck as well, clearly concocting a scheme that should not happen.
I feel like any general not-so-nice person, if a famous rock star came up to them and then they were like, hey, we think you might be a person we're looking for, even if they're not certain, who wouldn't say yes to that? Like, yeah, take me to your mansion.
We cut back to Bonnie. Chrissy is checking in here, and it's like, hey, what you drawing?
Did you notice the piece of carrot cake I left under that box propped up with a stick? Just checking.
Think you should go for it. It's got cocktail olives in it.
Ew, but Bonnie loves it. But she still hasn't eaten it. So she's drawing a picture. Chrissy's like, what you drawing? Bonnie says, a picture of my dad.
And Chrissy goes, how do you draw a picture of your father if you don't know what he looks like?
And Bonnie picks up the carrot cake, chucks it across the room, and slam dunks it straight into Chrissy's face.
I just know what he should be like.
What should he be like? How will father be?
Song number 2, Father B.
Father be. Be dad. Be good dad.
Be a dad.
Hey, this holiday season, be a dad.
Song number 2 of the evening, A Father Should Be. It starts with here, Kristen.
Say the be right, dad.
Bonnie drops the drawing here.
It's a very bad drawing. It's kind of adorable, actually.
I don't even think he has red hair. I think the color palette's a little off on this episode, at least on the DVDs, possibly. Because most of the guys who they say have red hair mostly just have brown hair.
Which is weird, because we know from Bobby Braddock that they can draw orange hair, like, bright.
Bonnie grabs some books off the shelf here, again with fucking Robin Hood and Sherlock Holmes, and...
These guys are my favorites!
Bonnie starts crying here, and she goes and cuts out a little papercraft man line thing. What's the proper terminology for that?
Like a paper doll?
Paper doll? A paper doll string, kind of? Like, you know, where you fold the paper, where it's Japanese steel, you fold it 1,000 times, and you cut out a little picture of a man, and then you have a man katana.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know, you fold the paper, and then you cut out the shape, and then you open the paper, and there's like a bunch of them.
Like a snowflake.
Like a snowflake, yes, thank you.
Okay, I didn't remember this at all.
I say the word folded, and I immediately go to Japanese steel.
I think it's like a paper chain or something.
Paper chain, for sure, whatever.
This is the content you're looking for in the last episode, Jim. What's that thing where you fold the paper?
Sky buckets.
Sky buckets, who cares?
So the paper starts all floating around here. Again, one becomes Robin Hood. Bonnie hugs him, and it's just like, I want you to steal from the rich and give to me!
The Bank of Bonnie is open.
She sees Randy James, who turns into some paper, and then she looks at her drawing and hugs it, and she makes like a very, like, she looks at the camera kind of awkwardly hugging the drawing at the end of the song.
Don't look at me!
Bonnie starts making some crying noises here, but the animation's a little off, so she looks angry, and it kind of sounds like laughing, too.
Oh, she's really going off the deep end.
She rips up the picture here. Chrissy comforts her. We go back to the casino, and Jem shows up in front of Andy Martin here, and he goes, It's Jim! The real Jim! I can't believe it!
Oh, this guy's a piece of work.
Jem pulls Andy away from the table, and is just like, so hey, about that little Vietnamese girl.
My friend was talking to you earlier. You kind of screamed in her face and then rubbed a picture of me. Anyway, we're looking for her dad.
That must be one of them little charity cases you got, but you got a big fancy mansion and a big fancy car for him, don't you?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, we're trying to find Bonnie's dad.
Well, look no further, I'm your man!
And Shayna's just like, you?
Shayna says it with such disgust that I can feel it, and I am turning Andy Martin way more southern than he actually is.
Oh yeah, he is a little bit, but you're going just a little bit cartoony.
He's more like Zipper, voice-wise. The one time that we have someone like Zipper, we don't do a Zipper voice for him.
I'm sorry, that's your thing.
I can't make any guarantees, but until I meet her, she could be my daughter.
I've had a daughter and I named her Little Zipper.
She gets made fun of at school all the time.
I did a bad job naming her. It's my own fault.
But hey, as a parent, you live and you learn. I started calling her Debbie instead, but I don't know how to change her birth certificate.
I mean, I could go to the library and maybe look up legal documents, see how the process goes, but...
I am wanted in 34 states currently, so,
Gotta be careful, because I'm not sure which are which.
It's one of the Dakotas, and, I don't want to get it wrong.
It's like a disco stage. The lights change, the safe zones and the danger zones. Never sure which one.
Oh, Zipper, is this where your story arc ends? Wanted in many states with a daughter named Little Zipper?
She's like a pants zipper. He found happiness after all.
So, yeah, Andy, even though he just said, I'm the father of Bonnie, he's like, well, I can't make any guarantees, but I gotta see her first, how about?
Here's a question that we might be able to use to figure this out. Did you have sex with a woman in Vietnam?
I mean, Kristen, knowing this guy, he's probably just gonna be like, yeah, like 9?
I mean, I've had sex with 9 people everywhere I've ever been. I'm wanted for child support in 39 states.
Andy says he's sorry for being mean to Jerica before, but he's very sensitive about his past. It's the pain of a lost love, Kristen.
And you know all the shit he saw in Vietnam.
Shit has her hand on her face, too. She cannot believe this shit.
When did Shayna really truly become skeptical of this group of stupid idiot rock girls?
It hurts. Right here. Right at the heart. Right above
tell me where you're pointing.
Right above the artery. One of the arteries.
Not sure which side my heart's on, sorry.
I got the southern disease from Fist of the North Star where all my pressure points are backwards.
Woohoo! It's Fortune from Metal Gear Solid 2 with her heart on the wrong side of her body.
Does she have that too?
Yeah. That Ocelot tries to shoot her in the heart after he deactivates her nanomachines.
That's right.
But she is actually lucky because she survives it because he shoots in the wrong side of her chest.
That's right, and that's why Kenshiro couldn't beat Souther, because the pressure points are all on the opposite sides of the body, so when he tries using Hokuto Shinken, it's just like, doesn't do anything to me, bruh.
He's like, oh no, I don't know how to do it backwards.
Well, they don't know that it's backwards, but when he learns, that's when he beats him.
I feel like you'd be able to guess pretty quickly. I don't know, I'm also media savvy.
This dude can't wait to meet his little, whatever her name is.
This is going awesome.
We cut to O'Carolyn's gallery here. He's a great painter, it seems. Kimber starts giving the rundown to Martin here. Aja gets bored and walks away.
Ugh, I'm so sick of this. We just got here. But I am outie.
Martin Kristen, now I didn't look this up. He sounds kind of like Brain from Pinky and the Brain, Maurice LaMarche.
Interesting.
He has that weird kind of Orson Welles-y kind of speech where it's just like his voice is kind of like...
Sounds like a man with PTSD.
Well, I still have amnesia. I'm not sure if I'm Bonnie's father.
The master.
Kind of Torgo-y, yeah.
A little Torgo-y.
He thinks that it's probably not the case since he was a POW and all, but then Aja's just like, Kimber, come the fuck over here. Look at this. Look at this shit.
So there's a weirdly tiny portrait that's square of someone who is clearly just Bonnie's mom.
Bonnie all grown up here. She's even wearing the same fucking pink and purple thing that Bonnie is often wearing.
That's a little weird.
Who's she? Aja asks. She's no one. Well, she's a face I see in the master's dream.
The master has many wives. This one belongs to me.
Aja and Kimber convince Martin to come back with them. Hey, it's worth a shot. Why not?
He's like, well, no, I think you're wrong still. But again, rock stars come to you and say, come to our mansion. You go, well, I owe it to myself and Bonnie.
Back to Starlight Mansion here. Jem and Shayna get back with Andy, who's pretty impressed with the place here. He's just like, oh, cool. So what can I steal here?
Yeah, so now I remember Shayna is like, I would rather Bonnie not have a dad than this guy be her dad.
And then Jerica has the incredibly dumb line here of, I know what you mean, but we've come too far to stop now. How about leave him in Vegas? How about if you find
that he was a scumbag to stop?
How about if you think that he's a shitbag, you just keep it from Bonnie. She's gonna be depressed, but it'd be better than living with this dude.
You shoot him. Bonnie, your dad's dead. I'm so sorry.
Mrs. Bailey comes out with Bonnie here, and then Bonnie goes, Daddy, Daddy! And
what have they been telling her while they've been gone?
She runs up and jumps into his arms here, and then after calling him Daddy, is just like, are you my father?
She has a habit of doing this, doesn't she?
She does this with Martin later, yeah.
Uh-huh.
How about you wait until you know for sure, Bonnie? Come on.
She has a jumping the gun problem. She's a natural addict. That's why she got addicted to those tasty, tasty cocktail onions.
Andy calls her Bunny here, or maybe that's just how he says Bonnie. I don't really know, because he also calls her, like, Betty.
The subtitles have him saying Bonnie.
Okay, that's also good.
Because Jerica does go, her name's Bonnie.
Segment 2 ends with them embracing, and boy oh boy does Andy look sinister. Kristen, this guy has to be a villain!
Ba ba ba.
Segment 3 starts here. Bonnie is showing Andy her room here. We get like a POV shot of, I'm guessing, Andy like looking around the room. He focuses on the hi-fi for some reason.
That looks heavy.
Like, I thought he was gonna steal the stereo, but he just steals Bonnie.
Yep, I mean, she's worth a lot more than the stereo.
He's good, you've been keeping such good care of her here. And then he scoops her up, but me and Betty gotta go talk.
Bonnie.
The what? Mike Brady, whatever.
What? No.
Bonnie looks too happy to give a shit that she's being called by the wrong name here.
Bonnie is gonna have a lot of problems later in her life if she is just content to literally be carried away and snuggled up to a man who is being a dick and can't even get her name right.
Andy jumps in his... Where's this car that Andy brought, actually? Why does Andy have a car here?
He stole one of Jem's.
They got back at LAX, and Andy's just like, can I stop at Enterprise real quick? Yeah, convertible. Convertible!
You heard me. No, I don't want insurance.
No, I don't want the top. Just give me it with the top down. I don't give a shit.
We're good. I'm just gonna put a small girl in it.
So yeah, Andy jumps into this convertible here and goes, I'll tell you at dinner about all that other shit that you wanted to know. That's probably pretty important, but you're done?
Bye!
Goodbye?
See you later. I'm gonna steal your daughter.
Jim still seems to be under the impression that Andy is Bonnie's dad in this next scene because...
And not that she just witnessed a kidnapping.
Because she's just like, I can't believe that man, that horrible man is Bonnie's father.
So, Kimber and Aja show up 15 minutes late at Starbucks. And they have Martin.
We got caught up. We were trying to rent a car at Enterprise, but they were out of convertibles, so we had to go to budget.
Ugh, it sucked. Oh, anyway, here's the guy who might be Bonnie's dad.
And Jem goes, Kimber, you're too late. We already found Bonnie's father.
Oh, we're not even gonna check.
I guess we dragged you all this way for nothing, Martin. But hey, how about some dinner?
Mrs. Bailey is already cooking it.
We cut to Andy and Bonnie here. They're at the old zoo, which is very old, as a matter of fact, and is also closed.
Is this, the place that closed after they let a little Vietnamese girl jump into the bear pit?
Nobody comes here anymore. It's kinda secret.
Bonnie's like, I've seen enough movies to know where this is going. Can I go home, actually?
You ain't going home yet, so shut up.
So Bonnie quickly flips and goes, Okay! You're not my dad. You're mean.
Of course I ain't your dad. What the fuck you think I'm doing? Why would I be your father? Shut up.
Oh no, he admitted it really quickly. Now he doesn't have a reason to pretend to be nice.
You're gonna be my meal ticket to the big bucks. And then Bonnie slips away here and starts running. She falls in some swampy water, and Andy goes, serves you right, and then puts her in a cell of some sort, presumably the bear pit again.
Ha ha, you fell.
Bonnie cries as we fade back to Martin, who's just like, and that's how I have amnesia.
The dark descent.
The phone rings, Jem picks it up here, it's Andy, and Jem is like, Andy, what? Oh no, wait, don't hang up, oh no!
So once Jerica actually, hangs up the phone, puts her face in her hands, Shin is like, okay, drama queen, what was that?
Andy has to bring $1 million to the old zoo, or we'll never see Bonnie again!
I'm sorry, Bonnie, you are not worth $1,080. 80s dollars.
$1,000,80.
Not that either.
With interest.
Oh no! Wow, only 80 cents worth of interest on $1 million. It's not bad at all.
It's a very low rate.
Super low.
They need to go rescue Bonnie themselves, and Martin is like, oh shit, here we go. I was in the army, motherfucker, let's do this!
This is a sneaking mission. Weapons and equipment OSP.
Rio's like, I want to come too. I'm in this episode. And Martin's
Martin
like,
goes,
no. You don't... Fuck you. Who was on the G.I. Joe team among us here?
Rio's just a wannabe. He can't fly his plane in because it would tip off what's his nuts.
Let's see. If Martin were a member of G.I. Joe, what would his G.I. Joe name be? What's his specialty seems to be? He's kind of like Snake Eyes, where he's like also, yo, what if he's just Snake Eyes? Whoa, Bonnie's dad is Snake Eyes! I think Snake Eyes might be Asian.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say anything. I mean, it's the 80s. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the ninja not Asian.
Well, okay, I'm pretty sure Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are brothers, I think. Or they had the same master, maybe? And Storm Shadow's definitely Asian, but Snake Eyes has, like, a zero suit on all the time, so...
Okay, so Bonnie's mom was Snake Eyes.
Yo! The 80s was progressive. Snake Eyes is a girl.
And now, after her death, Martin is Snake Eyes too.
Yo, Sub-Zero.
Yes! He takes off his face, there's a skull under there. That's Scorpion, right?
That is Scorpion,
I
yes.
thought so.
Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about?
How smoke comes out of his face? No, that's smoke.
So they arrive at the old zoo here. Martin says for Jem to distract Andy for as long as she can, which she doesn't do a very good job of either.
She definitely doesn't. She is just kind of hysterical at him.
Martin jumps out of the Rockin' Roadster and just heads into the brush here
Go, 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 go!
after jumping the fence as well.
Super athletic in his khakis.
Jem goes searching for Andy here, and he skulks out of the shadows. Where's the money?
Jem's like, I don't have $1 million to give you because... I was going to say she pays the mortgage on the mansion, but she definitely doesn't. Howard Sands just gave it to them. The utilities are pretty expensive. Also, there's a lot of kids there, and they eat.
We've got Martin going through the tall grass here, and he has an actual Vietnam flashback.
So, the zoo is a lot like the Vietnam jungle?
Of the overgrowth of the old zoo, perhaps. I don't know. But we've got bombs here just bursting in the air, fireworks everywhere.
Pew!
As he crawls to the feet of a Viennese woman here. Oh, Viennese. No, wait a minute!
Whoa!
Austria?
Different thing.
Austria isn't Vietnam.
It's definitely not. We fade, and he was hurt during the war, and Bonnie's mom nursed him back to health.
Yeah, and he comments on her beauty here, and then things go back to reality as Martin's just like, whoa, what the fuck? That was weird.
Don't remember that happening. Is that in a movie I saw once?
Andy doesn't believe that Jem isn't incredibly loaded, and Jem's like, it goes to all the Starlight Girls, I swear.
He says that she's lying, and he's correct.
You're lying to me, Jem, baby.
He hates deception and despises liars.
Lying to me ain't a good thing. So, Bonnie tries to crawl out of the bear pit here, as she did in the Jem Jam.
Bonnie gonna save herself.
Martin is running around here and has himself another Vietnam flashback, so we've got more things like marriage in Vietnam.
Quick question.
Yes.
They appear to have a Western-style wedding.
They've got this Vietnamese dude who marries them, also happens to be a Catholic priest, I guess.
Bonnie's mom is wearing, like, what looks like a Western wedding gown. I know marriage works differently in certain countries, so, like, I can't, just because I know what a traditional Japanese wedding looks like doesn't necessarily, like, you know, double back straight onto Vietnam, but this was also a really long time ago. Like, not modern.
How old do they say Bonnie is? Did they say she's 9?
I think they said she's 11 in this episode.
Okay, that makes... Because I'm just trying to, like, get the timeline straight on this, too, because the Vietnam War ended in 1975? And it's 1988? Presumably?
It's fine.
How long was Martin a prisoner of war, exactly?
How does he still remember his army training? He remembered his special taken skills, but not his marriage? Or his daughter? Whatever.
Martin sends Kyo Chin, who is the name of Bonnie's mom. What is the name of... That is the name of Bonnie's mom. Using the wrong qualifiers there. I don't even know if those are qualifiers. Whatever. Before he gets captured by the VC. Just gets a fucking gun butt to the back of his head.
Okay, I guess Kyo Chin's already pregnant at this point?
Yes?
She has to be, because we don't see a little Bonnie, and Martin certainly doesn't see her again.
No, that's why the timeline of this is weird. Presumably if this is at the very earliest 1986, which is the first year of Jem.
Uh-huh.
Bonnie has to be at the very least 11. And now, okay, so after the Vietnam War was over, I think there were probably still prisoners of war, maybe?
I don't know.
So maybe, okay, I can understand, I don't know how war works, Kristen.
Out of every war that the United States has been involved in, I definitely know the least about the Vietnam War.
You probably know the least about the Korean War, actually.
I forgot about that one, so yes.
There we go. Martin announces to nobody in particular, I'm going to find you, Kyo Chin! And we see Bonnie slipping. She's like scaling a cliff at this point. I thought it was like at a 45-degree angle before.
Whatever. She's doing a great job.
Martin hears her pleas and rushes into the bear pit. Bonnie falls. Martin is there just in time to catch her. And again, Bonnie goes, Daddy!
Right
he dyed his hair? What if he was bald?
Doesn't matter. He has deadly arms.
Andy is still threatening Jem at this point here. She runs away behind a corner and asks Synergy to buy her some time. So, as Andy comes around this bend here, he sees Donkey Kong! Ah!
Ah! You know what would work better, probably?
What?
If Synergy just hid her.
Probably, but no, we gotta have this thing here to set up for the joke. So, Andy runs off, and oh no, another gorilla! Diddy Kong!
So it's the whole DK crew.
Finally, they're here for you! Oh no!
Now!
So, he runs into Martin and Bonnie, Andy does here, and Andy's just like, there's a gorilla chasing me! And Martin cuts him off, going, the only gorilla around here is you! And throws him into the monkey cage.
It pans up and there's a sign that says, do not feed the monkeys.
So he dies there.
Yeah. That's called street justice. Or zoo justice.
We are no longer in frontier justice territory anymore. Not even concrete jungle justice. This is zoo justice.
I love that because this is the last episode, they really don't have to explain what happened.
No, he's dead.
Yeah, it's fine. Who cares?
Jem comes over to see if everything is all right here, and Bonnie's like, everything is definitely all right, because I got my dad, and, ooh, feels like I have my dad.
And Martin's like, and I got all of my memories back, including being a POW.
So, not too thrilled about that one.
But hey, little girl.
Martin says he'll never go away again as we fade back to Starlight Mansion.
Jerica just takes adoption papers out of her pockets and just
Please take her. Oh my god.
in his face. Congratulations, you now have to support Bonnie's drinking habits.
Cartons of cigarettes. Black and white filters for the house somehow.
She makes us play noir music all the time.
Please, my record collection is all jazz.
I need to diversify.
All's Right with the World is playing in the background here as well, as there's a party for Bonnie. It seems like she's leaving here.
Like before the party's even over. Peace out, you bitches!
Jem gives a present to Bonnie, something to remember everyone by, and then Riot skulks up here and is just like, so Jem, about that kiss.
And Jem just picks Bonnie up from like under her arms and shoves her into Riot and says, yep, your kiss from Bonnie.
She kisses Riot on the cheek here and is just like, thank you, Riot, for helping me find my father. And Riot's just like, yeah.
And he gives up.
Maybe next time.
And that's a series wrap on Riot.
There's the doorbell ringing here, and Kimber goes to open the door, and the doors crash open before she can open.
There's an explosion.
Because the Misfits are here, Kristen!
The party can start now! The Misfits are here!
The season can start now.
Oh my god!
Jem is just like, Pizzazz, are you here to cause trouble? And Pizzazz goes, why do you always think the worst of me, Jericho?
Stormer just pushes to the front and says, hey Jem! Do not answer that. We brought gifts for Bonnie. Roxy and Jenna don't say a fucking thing!
They don't. It's a little... At least Stormer got to say something, Kristen.
She's the nicest one they could give the last lines.
Pizzazz asks for a truce, and they shake hands here.
And then they kiss.
Martin says, it's about time to get to stepping here. We gotta get back to serving the master.
Huh? I mean, oil painting.
I mean, oil painting of the master.
That sounds good. Bonnie, you're sure you want to go with this man?
They gotta get to stepping here. Jem's off in the corner. She's a little sad because, and I don't know why, I just start this conversation like, hey, don't take it so hard. I think like, hey, don't take it so hard that Bonnie is leaving. But we find out that Jem is just like, she didn't even want to see Jerica.
Jerica wasn't at the party and Bonnie didn't say a fucking thing. It's because Bonnie knows that Jem is Jerica.
I guess Jerica doesn't rate.
But of course, as they are standing right next to the open door, Bonnie is like, wait, where is Jerica?
That's your cue, says Aja. So show's over Synergy. Bonnie and Jerica hug. They say they love each other, that they'll never forget one another.
As we go on,
we remember all
orphan
the
crimes we
in
solved
a bear pit.
together. You're gonna have a hard time picking which one of our songs you're gonna...
I'm just gonna put them both in. Fuck it.
Okay, yeah, layer them both over each other.
Bonnie says goodbye to everyone. I hope you'll be as happy as I am. Song number
Boom!
3 of the evening, which we'll be playing for you right now. This is Farewell.
This is farewell, farewell, goodnight.
I don't want to talk about this.
I believe I wrote to you, Kristen. It took exactly one note of This Is Farewell for me to be like, oh, fuck!
I thought I would be able to stand it, but partway through this, I just started crying.
We start on a picture of everyone here. Jerrica turns back into Jem. She walks out of the room again.
It's me! Jerrica doesn't get to take part in the final song.
The orphans all start hugging Bonnie. She hugs Chrissy here, her new best friend, as Chrissy whispers in Bonnie's ear, "Cocktail onions, I'm gonna get you, you motherfucker!"
And Bonnie says, "Good luck, I found my dad." Boom!
New series! Chrissy is a wanderer trying to find Bonnie and her painting father.
Just to overturn a jar of cocktail onions on her head.
We've got Kimber and Riot hugging for some reason.
In the afterglow of their lovemaking off screen.
Also, Rapture is here, and I don't think we see Minx in this song.
Yeah, Minx is here. She's just in the background.
Rapture's the only one who gets any kind of focus, and then she quickly turns into a silhouette in the background, kind of.
I'm going back to the spirit realm.
Bonnie spins around in slow motion with Chrissy and Terry, I think, is the one on her other arm.
Maybe. The Misfits get some goodbye lines. Bonnie kisses Pizzazz on the cheek.
The Pizzazz gets a kiss on the cheek. Rio has a singing part. Hey, remember Rio?
What?
Remember
I don't know
me?
who that is. I remember Riot. Did you spell it wrong?
I got a pilot's license, remember?
No, I'm not familiar. Sorry.
We've got everybody like going back into the background, waving goodbye, fading out here. And we get Bonnie getting up on Martin's shoulder. They walk out. Everybody stands in front of a banner that says goodbye spelled wrong, Bonnie.
I guess one of the orphans made it.
Good by Bonnie.
Good. The single by Bonnie.
Good.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
Bonnie waves. The last shot of the series is Jem in soft focus, waving goodbye here. This is farewell, but not goodbye. It's pretty goodbye. Up until 2014, whenever that comic started.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie.
Oh, that was 2015, right? I forget already.
This is goodbye until two assholes make a podcast about us.
So that's the end of the series, Kristen. I don't think there's really a lot more that I could ask for in a finale, other than maybe Eric!
Eric died.
Eric dropped off the face of the earth after the Stingers hit town, and the series doesn't necessarily suffer for it, but there's a big Charlie Adler void in this series, Kristen, without him.
Well, he was a major character. They couldn't wrap him up too.
He's too evil. They could bring the Misfits, but Eric showing up at the party, he'd get the door slammed in his face.
Yeah, probably. He did already torment those orphans.
So, Kristen, tell me, what did you think of A Father Should Be?
I wish the Stingers didn't exist.
Wow, I feel like have you swung like the other direction on the Stingers? Because I remember throughout all of season 2 we were like, fuck, I can't wait for the Stingers.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Stingers. If this season were twice as many episodes, I would not mind them at all. But there is a problem. Nothing got wrapped up properly, really, except the Stingers.
Kristen, this is where, again, I would say 80s cartoons don't get wrapped up. This is the best we're gonna get.
I know, like, the fact that they even tried, I should just be thankful for that, but me and my 90s sensibilities of what I expect from my media clouds my judgment. It's a good episode. You do care about Bonnie, and all things considered, her wanting to find her dad real bad is one of the more serious plot points of the, overarching series.
Yeah, it's a thread that starts from the 6th episode of the series.
Yeah, so it's nice that they did go, well, let's address something that's important and heartfelt, I guess. Again, she got kidnapped at a zoo.
It's a typical kind of, not even, I want to say a typical Christy Marks episode. It's an episode that has the Christy Marks stylings of, there's some serious stuff going on, but there's also a lot of cartoon stuff going on.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of dissonance there, but it's very Jem. Some characters get lines.
Minx and Rapture don't, at least, so there you go.
Yeah.
But also Roxy and Jetta don't, so there you go.
It's tricky.
Actually, Kristen, did I ever... I don't know if you ever read about what they wanted to do for the last episode of The Angry Beavers?
Oh, I think you have told me about this, but I can't remember. It was there was an episode where they became self-aware, right?
Yeah, it was... They would know that they were being canceled, and it was going to be the last episode of the series. Now, I guess that this might be different in terms of, this here, because Nickelodeon, I think, just had some kind of rule where it's just, they can't know that they're a cartoon. I'm sorry. So... maybe a proper send-off. Like, even then, can you think of, like, 90s cartoons or anything? I mean, not a lot. 90s cartoons were a lot more wacky, I think, too. Like, they didn't have kind of, like, very special episode of Blossom kind of episodes, right?
Yeah, like, to some degree, as goofy as they could get, you know, these crops of 80s cartoons, Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Gem, they were all, like, adventure cartoons.
And they could teach you lessons, too.
Yeah, whereas, you know, you and I grew up on SpongeBob.
I mean, I was 8 by the time SpongeBob started, so I was gonna say Dexter's Laboratory.
I mean, well, we saw the inception of it.
Yes, we did. I remember very well the beginning of SpongeBob.
So, like, I don't have any memories of, like, what Dexter's Lab was when it started versus when it ended.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It had already started by the time our cable package got Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I feel like cartoons that we grew up with were even more kind of aggressively just episode by episode. It doesn't matter where you start because nothing has anything to do with each other, really.
Yeah, there's not really an overarching plot. You'll occasionally get characters who show up for multiple episodes, like Cats or LeQuack and Courage, but they aren't really, like, important. There's no driving force of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
No.
It's just crazy shit happens to this dog and his family.
Mm-hmm. It kind of has that same reset that Gem has, but again, because Gem focuses on kind of the day-to-day lives and progression of this rock group and the things that they do together and their relationships. Like, yeah, Kimber gets pissy some episodes and then learns her lesson, and then a few episodes later is also pissy again. But, like, Eustace always sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. There's not much room for growth in a lot of cartoons, I think.
Yeah, no one really changes at all. Cosmo got pregnant.
What?
In the Fairly Odd Parents.
Excuse me?
Yeah, did you not know that?
Was that where the baby came from?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Kristen, I dropped off of the Fairly Odd Parents probably around the second Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
I did too, but I have the internet, so when a cartoon character was mpreg, I heard about it.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying. That never happened in Gem. Riot did get pregnant in our canon.
So it did happen.
Maybe this goes deeper than we thought.
Overall, I'd say, again, we're going to talk about all of this in the Stingtacular probably as well, but as far as the end of the series goes here, it's a series that, it's like, I believe you said in a tweet, Kristen, it's a series that I love, but it's just such a terrible show.
It's so stupid, but I love it with all of my heart. And I don't want to spend this episode getting too nostalgic or anything, but I feel like it's appropriate to say, hey Joe, I had a lot of fun doing this podcast with you.
Yeah, the podcast isn't over, Kristen.
I know. The Gem episodes. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to be nice.
Now's the point in the evening where I list off all of the fun contact things where you can find us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at cwtapod. You can follow me at Octopus, that's AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark, because I quit the podcast.
You can find us on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Stitcher Radio, on YouTube, on Twitch maybe. All the YouTube episodes are now up to date because I got lazy and didn't upload about 7 of them, so...
Well, after this one, there won't be any new ones because the podcast is over.
Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You can also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com, where you can tell us about the time you got trapped in a bear pit for a second time and army-induced amnesia you may have suffered.
I don't really want to hear about that.
Gem may be over, Kristen, but we still have episodes in the pipeline dedicated to Gem, of course.
Okay, that's true. You already let it slip that we're doing a Stingtacular.
Of course, in a few weeks' time, we will have the Gem Season 3 wrap-up, Spectacular, Kimtacular, Jimtacular, Stingtacular! Woo! That will be coming out on the 29th of November here. We'll be recording it on the 19th, I believe, so if you have anything you want to give us for the Stingtacular, please do submit, cwtapod@gmail.com, YouTube, any other thing, Twitter, any of that stuff. So
Yep, our schedule might be a little bit weird. I am, at the end of this week as we are recording, moving apartments, so it might be a little bit before I can get internet, but we will stream when we can during the week, And what else are we thinking about doing?
Well, Kristen, in the coming weeks as well, probably 2-3 weeks, I'm not exactly sure yet, we will have our second soiree, a Can We Read adventure about the second Gem Find Your Fate book, The Video Caper, which we will go through in its entirety. It is a good time to be had by all. The first one was definitely fun, so I'm looking forward to this one.
I hope video is in it.
I hope Video's the one stolen.
Oh no! The great video caper.
Next time, however, Kristen, it is another finale we are going to have to face. It is the final story, part 4 of our Sonic Adventure 2 series. After that, we'll let you know as it goes, but, we're not wrapped up just yet. Gem is over. When one door closes, another opens, Kristen. So there's still plenty more in the tank for the Can We Talk About podcast.
Vroom vroom.
And for the Can We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I am Kristen.
And join us next time for the end of everything.
I was gonna say your dad's in the mail, but I said that last week. So check's in the mail.
Big lizards in the mail.
Very big lizard in the mail. Also very expensive to ship.